What up, what up, what up, ladies and gentlemen? It is that time. Today is Tuesday, May the 17th, and it's time for a pre market PulseWave report. First of all, I do apologize. Last night we were unable to get the bull panel together, so we're going to see if we can try to possibly do it tonight. We'll see what happens. Schedules just conflicted, a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. So we'll see what's up with that. But I have not forgotten about you. If you are a PulseWave member, you're going to want to refresh your browsers. Go to pulsewavetrading.com, boot up your dashboard. You will see all of the reports have been updated as of this morning. So once again, if you are a PulseWave subscriber, all of the reports have been simultaneously updated this morning. I have some breaking news for you. You know, every day it seems like something else is going on. Well, I have to be the person to say I told you so. If you have not already had the opportunity to view the documentary that series that I did back in 2016 called The Federal Reserve and the Central Banks versus Bitcoin and the Blockchain, you need to go and you need to check that out ASAP. Everything that was predicted and talked about in that documentary series is happening right now in real time. Real time. You can't make this stuff up, ladies and gentlemen. I warned you a couple of weeks ago that there was a incredible global algo shift underway. And I said that according to the algorithms, there has been some infighting that has leveled up a notch that we haven't seen since like 2013. Well, on one hand, you have a faction that wants to just bring down the entire economy along with the stock market. They want scorched earth. They want their new world order, and they want it yesterday. And they're ready to do this. Their first plan with the medical thing didn't go the way quite they wanted it to go. So now they're trying to push it. They did not anticipate that they would get pushed back by the Biden administration. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The White House has been actually going off script, going off the reservation because they are seeking re-election. They got to make sure that they toe the party line and that their people win in the upcoming election. And in order to do that, they cannot allow the scorched earth process to take place as planned. So they're going off script. What have they been doing? They have been strengthening the dollar, trying to strengthen its stranglehold on the rest of the world. Strong dollar policy has always been the White House policy for the past decade, and they cannot afford to let that drop. In addition to that, they have been pushing back against the algo shift. I did mention to you that there was a global algo shift underway. And right after I released that report, the market started going bananas. And I told you that we don't know the direction. We just know that major explosive moves are coming. And everyone was like, when is this going to happen? And I said, it's happening now. Even though you don't see all the manifestations in the price action, trust and believe it is underway. Well, lo and behold, not only was I correct, but something happened that was unexpected. Something that no one was even remotely thinking about as being a possibility. And that was economic hitmen being assigned to and trying to take down the crypto market. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The men in black have been dispatched and they attempted to take down the whole blockchain and all its cryptocurrencies. And it was quite a brilliant attack if you think about it. And they were like, okay, what can we do to chop things up? And they said, let's go after the tether. Let's go after the stable coin. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get headlong into that. So get your cup of coffee, get comfortable in a nice chair, roll your sleeves up, put on your big boy and big girl pants, because it's about to get on and popping up in here this morning. We have quite alarming information to give you, but quite a plethora of information to give you. I don't even know if we will be able to complete all of it, but I will do my best. I will try. But first, let's get into what's going on in these overnight markets as we are nearing the opening bell in New York. So let's do that first. You know how they do first things first? That's what we're going to do. First things first. All right, so look at these overnight markets. So the US dollar right now is actually down 70 pips at 103.48 after topping out at 104.23 in the overnight. The euro is up 91 pips at 105.41. Pound sterling up 149 pips at 124.70. The Aussie is up 44 pips at 70.24. Bitcoin futures up 960 points at 30,465. Ethereum futures up 83.5 at 2,088 even. Crude oil futures up 21 cents at $114.41 a barrel after topping out in the overnight market at $115.56 per barrel. Nat gas up a whopping 35 cents. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Nat gas at $8.30, right near the high of the session of $8.33. Gold futures up $12.30 at $1,826.30 per ounce. Kind of very tight range right now. Overnight high hit $1,834.90, and the overnight low is $1,820.80. Silver futures are up 15 cents at $21.71 an ounce. It did hit a high in the overnight market of $21.92 an ounce, just shy of that $22 handle, and the overnight low was $21.56 per ounce. Dow futures up 413 points at 32,572. The E-mini NASDAQ 100 futures up 244 and 3/4 points at 12,489 and a quarter. E-mini S&P 500 is up 64 and 3/4 handles at 4,069 and 3/4. Russell My Hustle up 32.80 points at 1,815.20. The long bond getting destroyed yet again. Long bond futures are down 1 full point plus 1430 seconds at 138 and 1530. Soybean futures are up 5 cents at make that $16.62 a bushel. And corn is down 2 3/4 cents at $8.06 a bushel. And wheat down 14 1/4 cents at $12.33 per bushel. So that's what's going on in these overnight markets. And of course, alarms are being sounded all over Wall Street. Some of the top voices who, lately can't agree on anything, not even what to eat for lunch, but they want to prognosticate on what's about to happen next. So the Bulls and the Bears are duking it out. Let's see what's going on. Well, Wall Street is still divided on what comes next for stocks, but Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley are both forecasting more downside ahead. For the third time this year, Goldman analysts lowered their year-end S&P 500 price target, this time to 4,300. The price cut is driven by sluggish growth and high interest rates, which have pushed beyond what the bank expected just a couple of months ago. Morgan Stanley, too, is anticipating a slowdown. Analysts led by Mike Wilson said negative earnings revisions are likely as economic growth eases and that the stock market is set to fall as a result. The S&P 500 is still not priced for this backdrop, Wilson said, explaining that his bear case scenario is a 15% drop from current levels. The bank is cautioning investors not to be fooled by any rally because more downside is coming. But JP Morgan's quant guru Marco Kalanovic is on the opposite side of the fence, and he's sticking to the bullish forecast that he's pushed all year. Specifically, he expects stocks to rebound because they priced in too much recession risk. Quote, equities stand to recover if a recession doesn't come through, given already substantial multiple D rating, reduced positioning, and downbeat sentiment, he wrote on Monday. In other news, U.S. futures rise early on Tuesday. Cryptocurrencies were also up, with Bitcoin trading back above the 30,000 handle. On deck today, we got Arc Restaurants, Home Depot, and Walmart all reporting. Plus, look out for U.S. retail sales, which came out at 8:30. And Federal Reserve Board Chair Jerome Powell is speaking at the Future of Everything Festival. In addition to that, a veteran fund manager shared how he's beaten 96% of his peers this year. Salem Abram broke down his secrets to success as a mutual fund pro and made the case for 4 of his top investing ideas, despite seeing downside risk for stocks. So on one hand, analysts are saying more downside is coming, but yet they're trying to talk up their book so they can hurry up and dump their stuff before the market starts to pull back. Elon Musk said Twitter deal cannot move forward until bot claims are proved. Musk tweeted that his $44 billion takeover of the company would not go ahead unless Twitter can prove bots make up fewer than 5% of its users. It comes after a Wedbush analyst suggested Musk was using a dog ate the homework excuse to back out of the deal. For those that are unaware, bots make up the majority of the internet, a majority of articles posted, a majority of the deep fakes that are done, a majority of the fake people, fake analysts, fake voices, fake bloggers, trolls, and other things of that nature. Big Short investor Michael Burry revealed his bet against Apple stock. Burry's Scion Asset Management Fund held bearish put options against 206,000 Apple shares as of March the 31st. Meanwhile, Ray Dalio's Bridgewater Fund sold its Tesla stake last quarter and put new wagers on GameStop and AMC. Morgan Stanley sees a 27% chance of a U.S. recession in the next 12 months, up from 5% in March. Investment chief Lisa Charlotte said surging inflation means investors are increasingly starting to expect a hard landing for the economy. Rising oil prices are just a sliver of what's to come, according to a 32-year veteran in energy markets. Climate policies won't curb supply or demand, he said, sharing the top 3 ratings investors should understand in the face of the upcoming unprecedented energy crisis. Famed tech bull Dan Ives said investors should buy these certain stocks to make a diversified portfolio of the future. These companies are set to emerge from the massive overcorrection that is slamming the sector, the Wedbush analyst said. That is absolutely hilarious. Again, on one hand, they're saying beware the odds of March, and then on the other hand, they're saying buy these stocks and you'll be just fine. Again, this is old hat. Analysts have no choice but to talk their book. They don't have a choice. They have to do it, whether they want to, like it or not. They have to do it. All right, especially if they want to remain in business. Okay, so it's just something that they do. They can't get around it, and they will continue to do this. That's why they're always late, um, you know, to do everything and to call time to get out of markets. You know, it's just what they do. It's just what they do. All right, so diesel markets are telling us that there's a shortage. Supply of low sulfur diesel is dwindling and struggling to keep up with booming demand. In the central Atlantic region, investors have crashed to 78% from 2020 to their lowest level in a decade. Ladies and gentlemen, that is what's going on around the markets at this time. I know it's always some drama, right? Always something to do, always something to deal with, always something that you have to come against. Well, if that's not enough for you, did you know this little factoid here that U.S. gun violence hit its highest level since 1994? Yes, since 1994. Okay. Um, you can't make this stuff up. What do you expect for people to do though when you have wrecked their world? The year 2020 saw a historic increase in homicides in the US, which continued into 2021. And this is despite lockdowns. So basically, the people were saying, you know what you can do if you're locked down? We're gonna do what we do. The firearm homicide rate in the United States reached its highest level since 1994 during the first year of the COVID situation, with significant racial and class disparities, according to a CDC report released Tuesday. The year 2020 saw a historic increase in homicides in the U.S., which continued into 2021. Firearms. Yep, the good old word firearms. Firearms were used in 79% of homicides and 53% of suicides in the U.S. in 2020. Now, if firearms were outlawed, then I'm sure it would have been 79% of homicides were committed with a knife. Or if there were no knives, there would be a baseball bat. If there were no baseball bats, it would be a brick. If there were no bricks, there would be stones. If there were no stones, there would be strangulation. If there was no possible way to strangle someone because they didn't have a neck, they'd be beaten to death with their bare hands and feet. Human beings have been devising ways to kill one another for thousands and thousands of years. It doesn't matter the tool, it's not the issue. The issue is the heart. The nation's firearm homicide rate increased 34.6% from 2019 to 2020. Higher poverty levels saw larger increases, with racial and ethnic minorities more likely to live in communities with high surrounding poverty. In 2020, counties with the highest poverty levels had 4.5 and 1.3 times higher rates of firearm homicide and suicide, respectively, than countries with lowest poverty levels. So now they're blaming poverty for the level of violence. And now that does have a little bit to play into it, to be factored in, because when you tell a man he can't eat and you condemn him to a life of servitude, slavery, and poverty, well, that man's going to pick up a firearm or whatever he can get his hands on and get that money by any means necessary. And I think you all know what that means. While overall firearm suicide rates remained relatively unchanged from 2019 to 2020, increasing only slightly. According to the CDC, firearm homicides and suicides are a persistent and significant public health concern in the U.S. Wait a minute. I thought the medical crisis was the most significant public health concern in the United States. So you've gone from the medical crisis to firearms? Really? What does firearms have to do with the Center for Disease Control? Firearms are not a disease. A person who likes to shoot other people does not have a disease. Again, it's a heart issue. Long-standing systemic inequities and structural racism, which does not exist, have resulted in limited economic, housing, and educational opportunities associated with inequities and risk for violence and other health conditions among various racial and ethnic groups, the report said. Again, pushing forth the narrative of social justice and telling every person who does not have a certain amount of melanin in their skin that they are a racist. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you're in your household you had multiple ethnicities under the same roof. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. All right. That's what they're telling you to believe. The study's findings underscore the importance of comprehensive strategies that can stop the violence by addressing underlying factors that contribute to homicide and suicide rates, such as economic and social inequalities that drive racial disparities and health outcomes, according to the report. Policies that improve economic and household stability, such as child care subsidies and housing assistance, could be among them, as could community outreach programs. We have had household stability issues for a long time in the United States. Child care subsidies have existed for decades, along with housing assistance. And community outreach programs have existed for decades, even before most of us were born, they existed. And yet the problem has only gotten worse. What do you call it when a person continues to do the same thing they've always done, expecting a different outcome? Well, that's called insanity. So is the US government insane? Because they continue to push this narrative and the results get worse and worse. Obviously, that is not the problem. Lack of education is not the problem. As a matter of fact, some of the most prolific serial killers, some of the most prolific dictators who practice the art of genocide came from well-to-do families and had above higher than normal intelligence. So education, information is not the issue. Neither is poverty. Human beings are born impoverished. When you come into this world, you don't bring anything with you. You start off naked with nothing. Anything that you get after that point is because you've worked for it or you inherited it. All right? Those are your only two options. You get it out of the mud or you inherit it. Okay? It's just how it is. All right? So let's stop pretending that the government has the answers, because they do not. There's no government on the face of the earth that has the answer to this question, because it's not a matter of information or lack of money. Again, some of the most powerful, wealthiest nations that ever existed, including the USA, are responsible for the deaths of millions of people. When your government is killing people, innocent people, what do you expect for the citizenry to do? If your leadership are all psycho dictators, what do you expect the citizens to be like? It's a top-down approach. If the head is sick, so is the body. It's just how it is, man. But they want to keep pushing these narratives that this is the problem. It's not the problem. It has nothing to do with your ethnicity. It has nothing to do with racism. If racism was so systemic and problematic, there would be no persons of color in positions of power or authority. There would be no persons of color that are multimillionaires and billionaires. For the first time in the United States history, we have people of ethnicity walking around as billionaires and multimillionaires. That didn't happen in any other time during American history. Alive today are more millionaires and billionaires than ever before, making the United States of America the richest country the world has ever seen. The poorest person in the United States, by comparison, is richer than most historical monarchs. The poorest person in the United States, by comparison, is richer than the average person in a third world country, underdeveloped third world country. All right. So let's keep it real on that. You don't mind if we keep it real, do you? Well, this is reality talks. All right. We keep it real over here. So obviously the issue does not exist. Does racism exist? Not in the form that it did when it was government sanctioned. Yes, we know Jim Crow laws existed. Yes, they did. And we know that those belief systems still exist in certain sections of the population. That's like saying that crime is not a problem because in a certain neighborhood they have zero crime rate. Well, crime is a problem. It's just not a problem in your area, but it doesn't mean it's not a problem. So you cannot say there's no such thing as crime, or there's no such thing as rape, there's no such thing as violence, there's no such thing as racism. Obviously, fallen human beings possess all of those things and more. So that's not the issue. That's a straw man argument. The issue is that it is not the way that the wokeness squad is purporting it to be. They contradict themselves, not just with their words and their actions, but the fact that they themselves are multimillionaires. The head of your Black Lives Matter movement got at least $6 million in real estate. That's right. They have become the wealthy elite. They've joined the wealthy elite class. Always remember this, folks. When you see these so-called grassroots organizations, growing in political power, it's because that's what the goal was all along: power. Just because one disenfranchised group says we can do a better job than the people who are in power doesn't mean that they can or that they will. All right, because power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. It's a fact. It's just how it is. So again, that's not the issue either. Well, we don't have as much opportunities. Well, again, the argument falls on its face because history is full of people who were raised in abject poverty, lived in the grimiest of hoods in America, only to go on to become doctors and lawyers and scientists, and among other things. So how do you explain that person? Yeah, well, that person, they was white. That's why they was able to do it. No, not so fast. How do you explain all of the people of color who fit that category as well? Well, systemic racism, how did that person get out the hood? Do you know how many people are raised in poverty just worldwide who go on to do great and mighty things? It's about choices and decisions, people. Well, we ain't had no choice. We ain't had no decision. How is it that one person can do it, but no one else can do it? The fact that that even one person can escape poverty and the hood means that everyone can do it. Anyone can do it. But you see how the mental acumen of the average citizen has been destroyed by the public school system and all the propaganda? Well, that's what it is, folks. Propaganda. But even propaganda has its limits. That's right. You can try as you must, but eventually reality sets in for everyone. All right. Think about it. You got these companies that did very well in 2020 when the lockdowns were in place. But now that the lockdowns are off, now they're struggling. So Netflix lost more than 200,000 subscribers, and now they're considering advertisement. But they're also working on streaming alternatives for stand-up specials and other live programming, according to recent reports. Again, this is the reality. Do you think that a Fortune 500 company is not going to have to deal with reality just like everyone else does? Of course they will. And that's what's happening. See, they didn't think about this one thing. Okay, so you get your new world order, right? You run the economy into the ground, right? You make inflation go out of control, right? You say, "Oh, we got too many people. We gotta get rid of some of these people." But who's going to be left to buy your products? If everyone is poor, then no one can afford to buy your products. What happens when a business stops making money? It goes out of business. See, that's the part that they didn't think about. They didn't think about that. So what have they done in the back rooms? Well, in the back rooms, what they have done is that certain corporations have been allowed to insulate themselves against the plan so that when things start imploding, the company doesn't go anywhere because they've been allowed to become a monopoly, like Disney. Disney owns like 1,200 companies, all right, and continue to buy up more. So they allow the roll up to continue. The United States have seen just a in place that run it, the CEO, all that good stuff. All right, so that you are none the wiser. It gives you the illusion of choice. You go to the grocery store, you're looking for some ketchup, and instead of seeing 400 different brands of ketchup, you may only see 3 or 4, but it gives you the illusion that you have a choice. There are a lot more ketchup manufacturers that exist than the 4 that you have shelf space for in your local grocery store. Okay. And these are just facts. These are just facts. Okay. You can't get around it. It is what it is. So, another thing they've been pushing is the idea of a full-fledged nuclear war. Okay. Now, I want you guys to really think about this. I don't have time to go into it right now. I really don't. But I can tell you this. If you are curious enough, you'll find out the information. Since most social media sites now, like YouTube, or censoring and restricting content, it's become more difficult to do your due diligence and find stuff. But there are documentaries that exist that really break down this whole nuclear war situation. And I think you will be surprised at what you may find. But all I'm going to say to you is this, and I'll leave it at this. Things are not always what they appear to be. Just ask yourself this one question. If nukes really do exist, and some of the most scary individuals and countries and nations that supposedly have these, why is it that they have not used them? Well, it's because of mutually assured destruction. History is full of insane, psychopathic leaders who are willing to commit suicide by flying their airplanes into their enemies, strapping bombs to their chests, and going into a crowded area and exploding and blowing themselves up along with the other people. History is full of people that are willing to die just to take down their enemy. So ask yourself a question. If so-and-so has all these technologies, how come no one has used it? And don't say, well, mutually assured destruction, because again, there are plenty of insane people every day who are willing to go down in flames. They don't care. I'm going to go into this bank and I'm going to rob it, but I don't plan on leaving here alive. But on the way out the door, I'm taking some people with me. There are many stories in just the last 10 years alone of active shooters who go into a place and shoot it up, killing innocent people, and then themselves die in the process, because that's what they want. They wanted death by cop. No, I'm not surrendering. No, I'm not giving up. You got to come in here and get me. They come in there, they get them, they kill them, they shoot them. End of story. So the world is full of individuals who are willing to do that. They say, you know what? I know I can't win, but I'm not trying to win. I'm just trying to hurt my enemy by any means necessary. So I ask you again, if these people are afraid of such tyrants that exist, why hasn't none of them, who, if they're insane, how come they haven't fallen through with any of their threats? If you keep doing this, I'm going to do that. There's always been a threat of a nuclear strike, but it never happens. It's never happened. Even the most so-called evil people, we've been led to believe that America's enemies are some of the most insane, maniacal dictators that have ever lived, that make Pol Pot and those guys look like Charlie's Angels. So how come no one has pushed the button yet? Ever. Well, you know, mutually assured destruction. Again, there's some nations and people who don't care. If you were to believe all of the mainstream media hype, North Korea is one of those people that don't care. They said, we don't care. We're willing to die for our beliefs. Why haven't they launched? I thought Iran was this evil country. It wants to destroy Israel. Well, how come they haven't launched a bomb? All you gotta do is push a button. They said, we don't care either. We're prepared to die. Well, how come nothing's happened? Hours breaking down all the different scenarios and situations that have not happened. But there's something that works in their favor, and that is the fear of it. Fear. If we can make you believe we have something that doesn't exist, and you believe it, then you will do whatever we say because you're afraid that we may use this mysterious weapon. Well, we know we've seen video and we've seen footage of nuke testing and stuff. Have you? Have you really? Well, you know, we've seen footage of the rover on Mars. Really? Have you really? How is the rover landing on Mars when NASA came out and admitted on camera that they haven't been back to the moon because they forgot how? They say they can't leave Earth and they forgot how. All the information has been lost about how they went to the moon. But yet you can send a rover on Mars. Really? Really? And then people just believe it. They eat it up. So all I'm saying is they have made it almost nearly impossible for you to challenge them on any of these situations. And it's getting quite scary. There's a lot of information floating around about how they have rigged and changed the internet while no one was looking. And now they're using fear to push their agenda. Because all they got to do is say the word nuclear, and everyone goes, oh, no, please don't blow me up. I'll do whatever you say. Okay, fine. I'll take the jab. I'll do whatever you say. Really? If everything is so as the government says it is, then why do you have to force people to do something? Shouldn't it be common sense? If it is acid raining outside and the news comes on and say, yes, we have reports of acid rain, it's falling from the sky. Here's some live footage of acid rain falling from the sky. Don't go outside because whatever it touches, it sets on fire. Please don't go outside. The government's on there. Please don't go outside. Breaking news from the White House. Biden comes out. Please don't go outside. You don't want to be set on fire. Here's live footage from around the country of things being set ablaze, including poor Bambi out there in the woods because they got hit by the acid rain. Don't go outside. Now, shouldn't that be enough? People who hear that report, look out the window, they see the acid rain falling from the sky, they see it setting things on fire. At that point, just think for a minute. At that point, does the government need to draft legislation making it illegal for you to go outside? Does the government need to threaten you with jail or violence to get you to stay in your house? No, because common sense says there is a real threat of danger happening right now. I can verify it myself. I can look out the window. I see the acid rain. I see things being set ablaze. Therefore, I'm no fool. I'm staying inside. I don't need the police to drive around my community on a bullhorn saying, do not come out of your house. It's for your own good. Please don't. Anyone that comes out the house is going to be shot. We're declaring martial law. Everything's being set ablaze. Do they have to do that? Do they have to say, you know what? If you come outside, we're going to make sure you can't go to the grocery store and shop. If you come outside, we're going to make sure you can't go to work anymore. If you come outside, we're going to take everything you own. Do they have to go through those extremes once they've given us the weather report and once we've been able to look outside the window for ourselves and confirm that it is suicide to go outside right now? You don't, because facts are facts. Truth is truth. You don't need to do that. Truth begs to be investigated. Truth is never afraid of investigation. That's all they would have to do is say, look out. If you don't believe, don't take our word for it. Look outside. You tell me what you see going on. Oh, yep. Oh, wow. I see that little stray cat is on fire. Wow. Oh, look at them birds falling out the sky. They're on fire. Wow. Looks like what the media said is right. I ain't going outside because I heard what they said, and now I've investigated what they said. I looked out my window, and I see fire. You don't need to threaten people to do it. Well, here's another factoid for you. Why is the U.S. Congress trying to push a bill that forces institutions to comply with Russian sanctions? First of all, sanctions are enforced by governments. What does a corporation have to do with your governmental sanction? Nothing. And because of globalism and corporations having offices in other countries and all around the world, how can you say to a corporation you're not allowed to make money? We're forcing you to go out of business and even file bankruptcy because we have decided that we don't like Russia right now and we want to hurt them by not trading with them. This is why the whole idea of sanctions is stupid and has never worked and can't work. The only thing sanctions do is hurt innocent people and collapse societies and economies. That's it. Sanctions is mutually assured destruction, worse than a nuclear bomb. At least with a nuclear bomb, once the bomb explodes, it's over. The explosion has happened. It's over. We're done. The bomb is exploded. Okay, that's it. We're done. But a sanction is a bomb that keeps exploding every day. Keeps hurting innocent people. And then it hurts you. It's mutually assured destruction. If the majority of Europe gets its wheat from Russia, putting a sanction against Russia on their oil is mutually assured destruction and starvation for your people. And if you get a majority of your energy sources from Russia, to sanction them is suicide for that country as well. You idiot. Why would you slice off your own nose to spite your face? You're hurting yourself. Hurting someone else is hurting yourself in the process. You see why we have lunatics running the asylum? This is it right here in your face, folks. It's ridiculous. Corporations are not government agencies, or are they? Corporations are not people, but the courts say that a corporation is a person. According to the high court, a corporation can also be religious and have religious preferences. That's right. A corporation, according to the high court, is a person. So does it make sense then that they can force this person to comply with a sanction that has nothing to do with them? I'm telling you, the emperor has no clothes, and the infighting is starting to expose a lot of what's broken in the whole globalism push. And if that's not enough for you, how about something a little bit lighter, but also problematic? What about EA Sports? FIFA to end 3 decades of video game partnership. So while all this other stuff is going on, you got problem even in the gaming arena. EA Sports about to lose the license to FIFA. Wow, if you're a FIFA head and you love playing FIFA, I feel sorry for you on this news. Yep, the World Cup will not be featured in EA Sports franchise. Just when you thought, well, it can't get no worse than that. Yeah. So they're systematically destroying people's livelihoods, and then they want to also destroy the way you enjoy yourself and have fun. Ladies and gentlemen, you can't make this stuff up. It's getting wicked out here. Did you realize that not only have they systematically destroyed the global economy, but now they want to go even harder? Remember what I told you guys? I said you need to get yourself together before they slam the door in your face. Well, did you know that Portugal now wants to come to play too? And that Portugal is considering capital gains tax for cryptocurrency. You see, they're trying to shut off all the places that you go to hide. They don't want you to be autonomous anymore. All right. I told you, man. It's getting there. This is what's happening. We went from here them say crypto does not exist. It is not a investment. It is not money. It is not a currency. It's nothing, and it's going to fail. To now, countries want to pass capital gains tax laws on your crypto income. Isn't that interesting? But again, I thought that this is the way it's supposed to be, right? It doesn't exist, so why are you passing laws? If crypto is so foolish, silly, and stupid, why are the governments in the world such in a push to join the crypto bandwagon and the blockchain bandwagon? I'm going to explain it to you. Did you know that Binance's Luna investment, which peaked at $1.6 billion, is now only worth $3,000? Yeah. Yep. You see, they made large paper gains on their investment in Luna, but now it's practically lost all of it. The last time I checked, Luna was trading at a penny. Now, the exchange invested $3 million into the Terra ecosystem in 2018, 2 years after my documentary. Everyone laughed when I did my documentary in 2016. It was a lonely time to be a Vulcan. Vulcan had very few friends. People were laughing, said, "You don't know anything about crypto. You don't understand the technology. You don't understand this market. Stick to your little stocks. Stick to your little equities and that little nonsense and leave the crypto to us." And I warned them, I said, "You don't understand. The governments of the world are gunning for you. They are coming for you. And not only that, they're about to engage in financial warfare with you. They're going to come at you from all angles." I warned everyone. I said, they're coming. Do you know that they have large institutional funds that they're going to actually start to put to work in your space so that they can control it? That's what they do. They attack it. They blow it up so that they can come in and pick up the pieces. That's what happened, folks, in your Luna. The governments got together and destroyed that market, all in an effort to get you nice and shellacked and shiny for when they come in and stick the fork in you. That's right. That's why the Luna Foundation Guard depleted its $3 billion reserves to try to save UST. That's right. The Luna Foundation Guard, known as LFG, broke its silence on the state of its crypto reserves, saying that it would look to compensate users for losses suffered due to the breakdown of its algorithmic stablecoin. Terra's native token Luna and stablecoin Terra UST had gone into freefall last week as UST lost its peg from the US dollar. Stop right there. What did we just discuss at the beginning of this live stream? The Biden White House has a strong dollar policy, and since the economy is in free fall, they've made that policy even stronger. And they did it despite knowing the operation, the financial operation that was being undertaken in the crypto market. This was done on purpose, ladies and gentlemen. Think about it. Think about it. It lost its peg from the US dollar. Remember when the Senate Finance Committee set up and told you live on the air that they saw crypto and especially Bitcoin as a threat to national security? They went from, oh, crypto is stupid, we don't have nothing to do with that. If people want to go in there and lose money, that's on them. It's never going to be a currency. It's never going to be an asset. We don't even want to tax it because it's nothing. It's stupid. And can we please move on to, okay, it's a threat to national security. That's why they had to launch their financial attack against the crypto system in order to depeg the UST from the US dollar. The foundation, a Singapore-based nonprofit designed to defend UST, wrote in a 10-tweet thread on Monday that it would look to compensate the smallest holders first, adding that it is still debating through various distribution methods updates to follow soon. LFG's reserves have been depleted from more than 80,000 Bitcoin on May the 7th to just 313 Bitcoin today, LFG said. 80,000 Bitcoins down to 313 Bitcoins. Analysts at the Block Research calculated that LFG has gone from having $3.1 billion in its reserves a week ago to now having roughly 87 million. While LFG acquired those Bitcoins to save UST, it couldn't. UST is supposed to be worth $1 at all times. Has lost almost all of its value. It is currently worth roughly 13 cents, and it dropped to $1 right after this article. Excuse me. Now, the move follows widespread speculation about the state of its reserves and how it would move to compensate losers who lost vast amounts of money. Before it laid out the makeup of its funds on Monday, there was a scant detail on what had happened or what it would plan to do. On Friday, it was revealed that out of the total Bitcoin reserves, LFG recently provided a loan of $750 million in Bitcoin to over the counter trading firms and market makers. At the time, LFG's publicly known wallet address showed zero Bitcoin balance. A total of 70,736 Bitcoins had moved through that wallet worth over $2 billion. Amid the UST chaos, LFG was said to be seeking even more funds, an additional amount of over $1 billion to defend the stablecoin's peg, but those efforts seem to have stalled since LFG hasn't made any announcements in that regard. Once again, this was an economic hit planned coming right out of the Biden administration. You see what they do in darkness when everyone's attention is being diverted somewhere else? Well, did you know that a crypto Bilderberg meeting has been formed? That's right. You got the crypto Bilderberg, the Bilderberg crypto version. That's right. Nayib Bukele says 44 countries to meet in El Salvador to discuss none other, you guessed it, Bitcoin. The president of El Salvador tweeted late Sunday that 44 countries will meet in El Salvador on Monday to discuss Bitcoin, amongst other things. Tomorrow, 32 central banks and 12 financial authorities, 44 countries total, will meet in El Salvador to discuss financial inclusion, digital economy, banking the unbanked, the Bitcoin rollout, and its benefits in our country. Those central banks and authorities are primarily from developing countries, including Nigeria, Egypt, Nepal, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, Paraguay, Angola, Guinea, and Madagascar. Let that sink in just for a second. It is unclear whether these countries are meeting explicitly to discuss Bitcoin or what the full agenda is. These tweets come a day after the Twitter account Bitcoin Beach said several countries are flying to El Salvador, officially confirming the meeting. The Bitcoin Beach account described itself as the little community that helped orange pill the world's first Bitcoin nation in its Twitter bio. El Salvador became the first nation to adopt Bitcoin as a legal tender last September. It also holds the cryptocurrency on its balance sheet, having accumulated over 2,000 Bitcoins to date, with over $60 million at current prices. You cannot make this stuff up, ladies and gentlemen. This is what's happening while you have been sleeping. Think about it. That's why you have all this bread and circus lately, to divert your attention away from what's happening. Think about it, people. Just think about it. Now, with that being said, it gets worse. How could it get any worse than this, Vulcan? I'm going to show you. Did you know that Chile's central bank says it needs more time to study? What does it need more time to study? Central bank digital currencies known as CBDCs. Did I not tell you and warn you in 2016? I told you the central banks were going to do this. Chile is considering whether to move forward with a central bank digital currency known as a CBDC, in spite of previously disclosed plans to have a proposal ready by early this year. In a preliminary report issued on May the 11th, Chile's central bank said it needs more time to make a decision about whether to issue a CBDC. Reuters reported last September that it had planned to reach such a determination around the beginning of this year. The bank considers that there is still not enough information to make a final decision with respect to the issuance of a CBDC. The central bank wrote in its report's Spanish language executive summary, quote, however, considering its high potential and that international experience shows that it is a process that may require years of study and testing, it is considered appropriate to continue with activities oriented toward the future implementation of this new form of money, end quote. Now, the first stage of the process consists of collecting information from the parties interested in CBDC process, the central bank said, and exploring alternatives for developing pilot projects or tests that can help it understand the challenges of creating a CBDC. What this really means, folks, even though they may have, delayed the implementation, it's definitely coming. Even though it's unclear when the central bank may decide about a CBDC, it appears that it will study the issue throughout the rest of this year. Now, according to the central bank, there are still no clear international standards regarding CBDCs because a CBDC's success as a payment method will depend on how much the public uses it. The bank will first engage with public and private entities that may wish to be involved. In other words, we don't want to do it yet until the one world government has been finalized and this becomes a universally enforced and accepted means. Please read between the lines, folks. Think about what is going on. I've been warning you guys that this day was coming. I told you about this. And I told you that the world was saying one thing while secretly doing something else. While they were making fun of people that were engaged in the crypto world and buying Bitcoins, they were simultaneously preparing to do so themselves. And not only did they want to do that, they wanted to take over the market, control the market. And now they have successfully done so. The entire crypto space has now been co-opted by foreign governments with their very large institutional monies. And it doesn't stop there. The central banks have also not only launched their economic hitmen on the entire blockchain itself, but they're also getting their other pit bulls involved. Ladies and gentlemen, I told you that the world was going to change overnight on you. Goldman Sachs, that's right, Goldman Sachs leads $70 million raised by Elwood Technology. Why is this news? Well, you see, Goldman Sachs, Barclays, and Consumer Ventures invested in the Series A round alongside venture capital firms. Elwood is a trading platform that helps institutions access crypto markets. I told you they were going to centralize your decentralized markets. I told you that they were going to create their own blockchain. I told you they were going to create their own cryptocurrencies. I told you they were going to make it almost impossible for you to operate outside of their space. I warned you. And I told you that they are very, 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 very creative in how they go about implementing this. You see, Elwood Technologies, a crypto firm owned by Alan Howard, has announced a $70 million Series A round led by Goldman Sachs and Dawn Capital. Elwood is a crypto-focused market access and trading platform serving fintech firms, asset managers, and other institutional investors. It offers a range of services, including connectivity with various trading venues through an API, execution, and reporting and analytics. The key word in that sentence is reporting. Howard set up Elwood in 2018, 2 years after my documentary. Its early work focused on building indices to offer investors exposure to blockchain and crypto. The block then revealed last June that the business had pivoted to focus on software. Didn't I tell you that they were going to control it and take over the market? They've already done it. As soon as the Bitcoin futures came out, that was a wrap for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is no longer autonomous. Bitcoin in the cash markets now takes its bidding and its marching orders from the Bitcoin futures. If there is a gap in the Bitcoin futures, you best to believe that gap is going to be filled by not only the futures contract, but also the Bitcoin cash market itself. James Stickland, CEO of Elwood Technologies, said in a statement that the company had been established to meet the needs of institutions seeking to secure exposure to digital assets. So we've gone from crypto markets are for criminals and gangsters to them now calling it a digital asset. After they said it was not an asset and it was not a currency and that it was not an investment, now it's a digital asset. Remember, nothing is nothing until the government says so. The government has to decry anything that it is not in control of until it gets control of that thing. It's going to talk about it. It's going to make you feel bad. It's going to say it's the devil incarnate until they have found a way to take it over and control it. Then they'll start talking nicely about it and saying how you should add it to your portfolio. So we have entered a new chapter in Elwood's journey and continue to expand our capabilities, enabling our institutional clients to provide their users with improved access to digital assets, he added. Matthew McDermott, global head of digital assets at Goldman Sachs. Stop. Matthew McDermott, global means worldwide, head of what? Digital assets. I thought that digital assets didn't exist. There was no such thing as a digital asset. Where is he located? At Goldman Sachs. Who is Goldman Sachs? A pit bull of the Federal Reserve central banking system. You see, as institutional demand for cryptocurrency rises, we have been actively broadening our market presence and capabilities to cater to client demand. Broadening their market presence and capabilities. What kind of capabilities are you referring to? I tried to warn you in 2016 this day was coming. In addition to lead investors Goldman and Dawn, the Series A round was joined by Barclays, BlockFly Ventures, Chimera Ventures, Commerce Ventures, Digital Currency Group, Flow Traders, and Galaxy Digital Ventures. The company will use the cash to expand its products and grow internationally. Howard, former CEO of the hedge fund Brevan Howard, is Elwood's majority shareholder. Since late 2020, Howard has been investing heavily in the crypto sector, backing dozens of startups and seeking up businesses and setting up different businesses. He launched BH Digital, a crypto-focused division of the hedge fund he founded earlier this year. They're seeking more and more funds on your blockchain, ladies and gentlemen. I tried to warn you guys that your blockchain was about to be taken over. Do you know what people said to me in 2016 when I announced it? They said, you don't understand. The blockchain cannot be messed with. They have no access. The government can't do nothing. And I warned you, I said, that is a lie. You do not understand the way our government works. You have no understanding of the financial sector. I'm trying to school you. People said, you don't know what you're talking about. Really? So we went from, again, cryptos not being an asset, cryptos not being a currency, cryptos not being an investment, to now Australia's first Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs launched by the Chicago Board of Options Exchange, Australia, and ETF securities. Why Bitcoin and Ethereum? Why not two of the other thousands of cryptos that exist? Because it has to be uniform with what's happening back home in the US of A, where we have Bitcoin and Ethereum futures contracts. Bitcoin and Ethereum futures now control and have taken over Bitcoin and Ethereum. I tried to tell you. Australia's first cryptocurrency exchange traded funds met a muted reception in their debut on Thursday as global crypto markets were being battered by the collapse of two digital tokens. The collapse of two digital tokens. The collapse of two digital tokens. The financial hitmen were dispatched and they collapsed two digital tokens in the process, left in their wake. You didn't believe me then. Do you believe me now? Do I have your attention yet? All the naysayers who said I know what I was talking about. Do I have your attention now? Securities and Derivatives Exchange, CBOE Australia, introduced the ETF's 21 shares Bitcoin ETF and ETFS 21 shares Ethereum ETF, the first exchange traded funds to offer Australian investors direct regulated, I say it again, direct regulated exposure to the world's biggest digital tokens by market capitalization. I'll say it again. The world's biggest digital tokens by market cap, Bitcoin and Ethereum. How did Bitcoin and Ethereum get to that point? Because the economic hitmen entered into your decentralized blockchain and started buying up Bitcoin and Ethereum. That's how. 1 in 5 Australians already owns cryptocurrency, according to a 2021 Swift FX survey, and the new ETF products may attract additional investors. The governments of the world want in. They want some of this money, and they're getting it. CBOE Australia CEO said, we're pleased to partner with ETF Securities to bring the first crypto ETFs to market in Australia. He added that they were breakthrough products. He added that they were breakthrough products. He added they were breakthrough products. Let me remix that one more time for you. They were breakthrough products that will pave the way for more Australians to expose their portfolios to cryptocurrency in what? In a regulated manner. To expose more Australians to their cryptocurrencies in a regulated manner. Still, the historic debut came amid the collapse of the algorithmic stablecoin UST and its related Terra-based asset Luna. The three new ETFs each experienced initial trading volumes below $1 million and underperformed bullish market expectations amid a global sell-off in the underlying prices of Bitcoin and Ether, the AFR said. Did I not warn you guys weeks ago that there was a global algo shift coming? And then this happens right after my announcement. You cannot make this stuff up. I don't pull this out of the air. The algo charts tell me what's coming and I tell it to you, and then it happens. We wait and then it happens. There are strong signs of capitulation in crypto this week, which often precedes rebounds. Tony Sycamore, senior market analyst for Citi Index, told Bloomberg. Presuming the recovery gains traction, it will help garner support for the newly listed ETF products along with the continuation of more widespread adoption. See, this is why I told you too, after I made that global algo shift announcement, that I was praying and hoping that I was right about these global markets. And I was telling you why I believe that everyone else had the markets all wrong. Because they were saying, oh, the market's going to fall down, it's going to go away. No. They can't afford that. They need these markets to rally and rally harder. A lot harder. Okay? And then I warned you, I said, if I'm wrong, though, we won't be able to back up the truck. If I'm wrong, that means the stock market is the least of your worries, because not only is that going to fall, but they're going to pull down the entire financial structure. Forex, commodity futures, stocks, crypto, everything would crash and burn, because that's what they really want to do anyway. But I said there was an algo shift coming. Someone somewhere is bucking that assignment and bucking the trend, and they want to take over. And they want to let the market run amok because they need it to. They need to raise more capital. And I warned about this. I told you guys this was going to happen. And now it's happening. This is why you need the PulseWave report. If you are not a subscriber to the PulseWave report, you are playing yourself and you're missing out on what the markets are doing. Okay? I'm going to do something that I normally don't do. I'm going to show you guys who are watching this live stream, I'm going to show you just a little teeny tiny example of why you need to be down with the report. This here is our current holdings. Now, I showed you the other week we walked away with 1,000 pips in a week. Well, we're on our way to do it again. In the euro right here, we're up 116 pips. In the pound sterling, we're up 208 pips. And in the Aussie, we're up 69 pips. This is all in a day's work, just 1 day's work, all green on the screen. You cannot make this up. We does this. This is not fun and games. It's not a joke. We do this stuff for real. All right? We eat our own cooking. And you need to know this. That's why we do what we do. We show you that not only is it possible, we do it on a consistent basis. And so can you by going to PulseWaveTrading.com and signing up for these PulseWave reports. Thousands of securities. We're telling you what's about to happen before it happens on thousands of securities on multiple exchanges across the world. Doesn't matter if you trade stocks in Berlin or if you trade stocks in Norway, doesn't matter. We got you. Thousands of securities. And these reports go out nightly, telling you what's coming next and how you position yourself for it. Speaking of which, if you are already a subscriber member, you need to go to your dashboard, because I put out what I am buying today, as today marks day one of backing up the truck. Ladies and gentlemen, the truck has been backed up, and we have already started loading the truck before I started this live stream. So if you want to know what I'm buying, you need to go on over to PulseWaveTrading.com, pull up your dashboard, and it will be there for you so that you can follow along with what I'm doing. Also, I do the nightly trade journals where I show you what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. All right, so Yeah, we're building the portfolio. This is the global algo shift portfolio. All right, that we're building today, and we are just getting started. I'm backing up the truck, and it's time to go in and go ham, and that's what we're doing because we're following the money. We know that they want to pump before they dump, and they're doing it hardcore, and no one is paying attention. But we are over here at PulseWave Trading. Oh, we are paying attention. We are definitely listening, and we're preparing ourselves to do something about it. Not just listen, but to participate in what's happening because this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. All right. So every day I'm going to be updating the portfolio to let you know when I'm in. The portfolio will include everything. It's going to include equities. It's going to include Forex. It's going to include crypto. Right now, we're focusing on our equities. Okay. So I got a bunch of equities that I am buying for the global algo shift that are going to explode. Based on our research, we see them exploding, and we want to explode right along with it. You're going to be surprised at the securities you don't see on that list. And if you don't see them on that list, there's a big reason why. So we're buying as many as we can. So far this morning, we have already gotten filled on quite a few. According here, we got one, two. Yep. So far, right now we got five securities we're holding in the portfolio, waiting to add more. So yeah, we're looking to go ham. This is no turning back at this point. It's do or die. So, like I said though, if I'm wrong, we got a plan for that too. We got plan A and plan B. Plan A is I believe that I'm right, so we're going in that direction. But if something comes out and I'm wrong and the forces that want to prop the market up and make it balloon higher fail in their attempt to do so, then it's Armageddon at that point. Like I said, expect Armageddon, expect things to be on a level that no one has even told you about yet, because we're talking absolute chaos, anarchy, all of that stuff. That's why I don't want to be wrong. I do not want to be wrong. This is one of those times where none of us can afford for me to be wrong. Pulse waves don't fail me now. All right. I've been using them for almost 30 years and they have never failed me. So I'm long and strong, and you can get on board with me. Go to the portfolio and check it out at pulsewavetrading.com. Just sign into your dashboard and look under Dex's watch list, and it'll show you the securities that I'm watching and also trading. And like I said, we're going to be adding a lot more. I believe that we have not seen the highs in the commodities. I think the commodities are just getting started, but there is a strategic situation going on that you have to approach them in a certain way. And that's what I will be showing you guys how to do. You can't just dive in. You have to be strategic when it comes to these commodities, because what ends up happening is they get really volatile. Commodities have the ability to become a zillion times more volatile than Bitcoin ever was. And I mean crazy, because some of these commodities have what is called lock limit moves. So if you're caught on the wrong side of a commodity futures contract on a lock limit move, you're done. It could be a wrap for you. It could be over for you. Since I have been on YouTube, we have seen what the commodity space can do. We saw crude oil futures, the most gangster market on the planet, go lock limit all summer long in 2008. Can you imagine being on the wrong side of that and the market is locking limit against you every day for the entire summer? And it didn't stop there. Frozen pork bellies went lock limit up all summer too. Can you imagine being caught in that? What if you were on the wrong side of both of those at that time? You would have been having a very bad day, very bad day, very bad year, very bad month, very bad summer. Okay. It is what it is, man. So I just want to encourage everyone. We're in for some very volatile times. But even in the midst of this, there's an opportunity here that didn't exist before. And that opportunity is to make a lot of money. And believe me when I tell you these things, because you're going to need it. You're going to need multiple income streams moving forward. You're going to thank God that you listened to me when that time comes. Again, I don't care if a sandwich causes as much as a wheelbarrow full of money. I'd rather have that wheelbarrow full of money than not to have it and can't eat. So get ready because it's going to be crazy outside. All right. I'm done for today. This is the end of the pre-market PulseWave report. In a couple of minutes, Frank and I we're going to be doing our live webinar, our training series. Trust me, you don't want to miss that, especially if you are a PulseWave member. I have a treat for you. If you were paying attention this morning, I put out an alert letting you know that every single last one of the reports on your dashboard were emergency updated. So you need to refresh your browsers and you need to check that before you come over to the live stream that we're going to do, the live stream training webinar in just a few minutes. So prepare yourself for that. A lot of things changed overnight. This algo shift, like I said, is taking on shapes and forms that were not necessarily expected. I didn't know that they were going to take down the tether like that. I didn't know that they were going to do that. I just knew that a lot of money was moving around and it was doing it really fast. And the system picked that up. So that's why I alerted you guys to the global algo shift, because a lot of stuff was happening really fast. And then I noticed something even in the overnight market. That's why I had to rerun all the reports and put it up there so you could see it. It doesn't affect all the securities, but it does affect quite a bit of them, a large percentage of them. So you got to check it. And then we're going to go over that in today's live webinar. I'm going to explain to you what happened. And then I'm going to show you what to look for in tonight's report that's going to come out, because these reports come out every night, Sunday through Thursday. So, yes, a lot happening right now. A lot of it's happening fast. But all you got to do is, come to the webinar. If you can't because you got to work or something, the webinar will be recorded. So you can peep it when you get home from work or whatever. But we're going to go in. I'm going to show you, step by step, what's happening and what happened overnight and what I believe is going to take us within the next couple of weeks, what's going to unfold itself. A lot of these markets are not what they appear to be. I know that, Wall Street will have you believe that so-and-so is in a bull market or whatever. And the algo charts have already exposed that lie. A lot of these markets that are bullish right now are not in bull markets, even though if you look at a chart at your average broker where you trade at, you pull up a chart and they'll show you, oh man, this thing has been in a bull market all year. And the algo chart says not so. That particular security is actually in a bear market. And what you've been experiencing is a bear market rally, masking itself as a bull market. So we're going to go there too. And I'm going to show you what's up. Let's see. Do you think a crash in stocks, etc., comes in the fall? That is a darn good question. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest and say I don't know. I don't know the answer to that one. But as the days and the weeks go by, I will have an answer. But for me to answer that right now, I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say the only thing that exists right now as we speak is the reality that the S&P 500, the NASDAQ 100, and the Dow, as far as the algo chart is concerned, are in bear markets. The only exception is the Russell. The Russell is in a bull market. And technically speaking, it looks like it's the beginning of a bull market. So if I were to say, if this was, let's say today was like, the last week in August, I would say to you, it looks like we're at a crossroads. Either the other three indices catch up to the Russell so we can have a nice Santa Claus rally, or these other three indices are about to pull the Russell down with them. And yes, we're looking at a crash of epic proportions. But since this is not the case, we are only in May, there's still time for the other three indices to catch up to the Russell rather than influence the Russell and pull it down with them. The Russell tends to be a leader in these markets. Sometimes the NASDAQ is the leader, and then other times, traditionally, the Dow has always been the leader traditionally. The S&P is like the little brother of the Dow. A lot of people say, "Oh, we set our benchmark to the S&P." They only say that because it's the little brother of the Dow. The S&P and the Dow are Siamese twins and move together regardless of all other markets. The NASDAQ is independent, and so is the Russell. So they take turns between the Russell, the NASDAQ, and the Dow leading the market. And right now, it's the Russell that is the stronger of the indices. And it looks like it wants to rock and roll from here. But it can always be pulled down, and it can always crash and burn if these other securities do not switch over and go from a bearish retracement to a full-blown bull market. We're at a crossroads where that can easily happen because the markets, the Dow, the S&P, and the NASDAQ have been in retracement mode for a minute. The real other truth is this. Now, even though the NASDAQ has fallen, from hundreds of points, the weird part about this is that this was only a bull market correction for the Russell. I repeat, since the Russell started falling on March the 30th of this year, that was just the beginning of a bull market correction or pullback. Since May the 12th, the Russell has now locked back in to a full-blown bull market on the daily algo charts. While the Dow, on the other hand, and the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 are still technically in bear market corrections. They have not moved enough to switch over from a bear market correction back to a full-blown bull market. Now, that could happen in the next day or so, but right now, it is not happening. Yes, the Dow and the NASDAQ and the S&P are positive on the day, but they just started going into a bear market correction. As a matter of fact, up until May the 12th, the Dow Jones Industrial Average on the daily algo chart was in a locked-in bear market. Just a couple of days ago, locked in bear market. It did not start correcting until May the 13th. That's when it said, okay, now I am now in a bear market in a correction. That's it. That's all it has done. And it's only 2 days in on the algo charts. While the Russell is all the way in. So, yeah, I think more upside is to come in the next few days as the Dow, the NASDAQ, and the S&P play catch up with the Russell. And that's why you see the Russell moving bullish and then pulling back. I think the Russell has the most volatility in it from a day-to-day basis, where it'll come in and it'll rally hit a new high and then pull all the way back. So yeah, it's because it's waiting. It can't move but so far because it's waiting for its brethren to catch up. So these are realities, folks. Like I said, you can't make this stuff up. It is what it is. All right, well, got to get ready to go now because in approximately 7 minutes we're going to start our training. So you don't want to miss that because I'm going to go over what happened last night and what's happening right now as we speak. And with that being said, don't forget to smash that like button. And remember, bulls make money, bears make money, and pigs get slaughtered. So remember to take what you can and give nothing back. And I'm out. Peace.